Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with our monthly gold update video here for the month of October now that it has wrapped up. And typically, we like to do this update every single month because we can get a sense of how the overall health of the gold economy is in Marvel Strike Force. And at the same time, it allows us to make better decisions too because understanding what our budget, what we actually generate free to play with no purchases whatsoever, can give us insight in terms of, is Scopely Marvel Strike Force doing what they're originally intending to do, which is are the resources coming into the game consistent? Are they decreasing? Are they increasing? And that allows us to make investment decisions as well on what characters, teams to build, especially given the fact that, there's continually events coming out as well as new teams getting released every single month. It is hard to track, so that's why this allows us to at least be grounded and to have that information to make those decisions. Now, for those of you that haven't followed my past videos, this is the 2024 strategy plan that we outlined back in the very beginning, right? And it was really just to gain a sense that if we were to budget every single day, spending X million gold per day or per month, what are those savings? And could we actually keep up with the meta? And the answer to that is quite simply, yes, we could keep up with the meta, but it depends on the game priorities that you want to focus on. You're not going to be able to excel in every game mode, but you can be decent, and it depends on, again, what you kind of care about in the game. End of the day, we calculated that we typically generate anywhere from 250 to 300 million gold per month free to play without any kind of passes. And the reason there's such a wide range is because understandably there's some events that we may not be able to finish all the way. Most of the end game content sometimes can require some highly built teams, so there is a bit of deviation there to consider. But my goal for 2025, and we were well on track and we actually hit it last month, was actually to get 1 billion gold completely free to play in my account, and we hit that mark. Unfortunately, as you'll see later on in the update, we did have to dial it back because there was investment that needed to be done for a limited time purple ISO 8 event. So you'll see that later on in the overall trend. But either way, guys, this is basically a snapshot of everything that happened in 2024. I'm going to do the same for 2025 once that's wrapped up, but even as you can see here in the different columns, what we earned, what we spent, and essentially the net savings or the net cost to our overall account savings, right? And how it impacted our reserve. This still allowed us to stay competitive in the top 10 to 20 arena ranking. We were able to unlock every legendary character at the time, which was only 2 releases in 2024, being Old Man Logan and Shadow King. But more surprisingly, I was absolutely proud of the fact that we were able to land top 4,000 in the Mephisto Dark Dimension 7 unlock, and even with Odin with the Dark Dimension 8 requiring purple ISO 8 for the first time, we were able to land in the top 3,500 rank as well. And again, guys, I am 100% free to play, no battle passes, nothing in terms of just additional expenditure, so that way you can see actually what a top end, highly engaged, competitive free to play player can actually compete at, guys. So just to give you that context there. Now, it's difficult to go through every single month because I do these updates. So typically when a few months have passed, I consolidate my net findings in a quarterly update, as you see here. So from the first quarter of this year, we were actually able to generate 272 million in January, followed by 286 and 329 in March. So I mean, we were averaging actually close to 300 million gold, which is very, very consistent, because even if you look at what happened in the later half of 2024, especially since June all the way to December, I mean, my goodness, in the green there, we just started clearing north of 200 million gold per month, and it just accelerated. So this was awesome. Scopely, Marvel Strike Force, they promised that they would be improving the economy, and as well as all these events, all these teams coming out, it made sense that the more they pump out, the better the economy should be, because they would want us to obviously have those resources to invest in, right? So that was the hope. But we did see a bit of a dial back here in quarter 2, because from April all the way to June, you can see, and sorry, my numbers are a little bit staggered there from April to May, because I did actually take a vacation. So we had to just dissect that and put the two numbers together. But regardless, 287 to 111, and then finally the later part of May was actually included in June. We averaged 262 million gold per month. So you can see it right from the get-go already. This is about roughly an 11% decrease from quarter 1. So obviously there could be a bit of timing, sometimes the war payouts and so forth. There wasn't anything to be quite alarmed with just yet. And then we finally did wrap up quarter 3 in the last month update, right? So this was, great to see, of course, because you can see all the way from July to August and September, we are actually quite stable. 277 bouncing back in July, a little bit of a dip in 247 in August, and then finally 257 in September, averaging 260 million, right? So as you can see, 0.01 decrease from quarter 2, almost basically flat, and there was no actual comparison in the last 2 quarters, which is great to hear. But if you guys missed my past video, there were some alarming news, and I do have some bad news that I need to share with you guys now for the October update. So let me just give you a quick little recap. Remember that there was this limited time 65 million gold compensation that they actually released to everybody that was basically impacted or not impacted by the event. Basically, if you weren't impacted, you would still probably be getting a raw amount of 65 million. So this was the screenshot from my account. Obviously, I took advantage of it because it was free and I didn't do anything, but it was just compensation that they had to give out to make things right. Now, when you take a look at what happened in September, this 257, this is inclusive of the 65 million, ladies and gentlemen. That was the surprise update that I made last month, because I was quite astonished that, you know, if you follow the math, right, and you follow the average, the trends and historicals, the extra 60 million, 65 million, that should have bumped up our September average north of 300 million gold. It just kind of makes sense, makes logical sense based on historical performances, right? But in this case, no, because they actually had to give this out, they basically baked this into the calculation of what they actually give out for players. So this was seen as a goodwill, a great gesture from them, but it actually was not, because this did not, you know, add more gold into players' hands, so to speak. They gave this out, and then they dialed back other events. They dialed back other rewards that were released. So at the end of the day, I mean, this just made them look better from the perspective that they were being respectful and you know, obviously giving credit where credit deserves. But it was just deceit. It was lies. And it was kind of a big red flag for me, because I was worried now, is this going to be the start of something that we may not be foreseeing here in terms of the gold income essentially being earned each month, right? Especially since they baked in the 65 million. So that's why October was going to be a very, very pivotal month, because there's 2 things that can happen. One, they still regulated back to the 250, 260 million that you see for the last 6 months. Or was there actually a nerf to gold, and that 65 million additional was actually an increase, which means the true income for September should have been 200, and then they gave us the 65, which puts us close to the average that we saw basically starting since the quarter 2. So now we have the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And again, just to give you a quick recap here, this is the September update. So you can see we compare the August to September balances with the screenshots of our accounts. And typically what I do for my calculation anyways is that I budget roughly 6 million gold per day. So you multiply that by the 30 days, it gives you the 180. And if there's anything overspent, any additional investment, we document that along the way. And that's how we know what the true net in and outflow is, right? So at the end of the day, you can see at the end of September, we did hit 1 billion gold. We hit our mark. But remember, this didn't account for the fact that there was a leaderboard event that actually happened in October. And now let me give you the facts here, guys. So October update. Remember, we started off the month at 1 billion. We basically spent close to 200 million gold. I have that all captured on video that you guys know, to allow us to be, I think we landed the top 500 in the leaderboard event. So we were significantly crushing that event. But I still had to invest in Insidia 6, and I still had to invest in, I think it was part of Brimstone already in my roster, right? I think Damon was part of this. So you can see I actually dialed it back down. I only spent 5 million gold per day, which gave us that 155. And then we still have to factor that 200 million gold. So we spent roughly 355 million for total. And then that gave us the ending balance here of 857. Now, when you do the math here, ladies and gentlemen, it is bad news. We went from 1 billion to 857. With only 355 million gold spent. So that means our gold balance actually decreased for the first time in a long time, obviously, but our net income coming into the game was only 206 million gold. So for those of you wondering if, you know, this was a one-off and that they were trying to fix it to 260, my fear is that the true income might have actually decreased now. So rather than the 250 to 300 that we've seen in past, you know, basically for the past year, it's finally dipped down to that 200 million mark, right? And that's kind of what's scary right now, guys, because we still have 2 more months left in the year. And let me show you this once again, right? Remember, we ever since June 2024, we've been north of 200 million gold in terms of what's coming into our account, completely free to play. So now we're back to basically May and June 2024 levels, which is very, very scary, guys. We have 2 more months left, November, December. I hope maybe this is a blip. I hope this is an anomaly. But if it continues basically that means the trend essentially started in September, where there was actually a gold nerf. So it's interesting, guys. So this is why we do what we do. We try to keep a line of sight on this and trying to analyze it as best as we can. But if the true income from 250 to 300 expected is actually decreasing, it means that we do have to probably cut back our spending in terms of the overall gold if you want to actually save up. So yeah, anyways, guys, I just wanted to share this with you. Unfortunately, it's not good news. It is, and the worst part is there's no communication or anything. But at the end of the day, I just want to circulate this to you guys so you're aware of this as well. But it does look like there is, in fact, potentially a nerf to the gold. So we'll see. We have 2 more months left in the year, and I'm definitely going to analyze and bring that back to you guys. But in the meantime, be careful with your gold. Watch what you're investing in and building up, because remember, end of the day, the most value you're going to be getting is from your arena and raid teams, and then ultimately, obviously, the big things like Age of X, working on potentially a game-changing character like Blue Marvel if you're at that point, right? But yeah, be careful. Don't just invest in every team, because at the end of the day, there might not be enough gold. And that's kind of the fear, right? And that's tied back with trading materials as well, guys. Just my 2 cents. Anyways, do let me know down in the comments below. Are you feeling this pinch as well? Are you seeing this in your account? Especially the last couple of months. Have you noticed that your gold has significantly dropped? Well, in actuality, the true income coming into our account has, in fact, decreased. So I wouldn't be surprised. Do let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.